Good morning, Intention Core. How we doing? Winded thoughts of wedding rings come, stranger things, the upside down. I'm guessing this is gonna break. Something updated with Nix and it just broke, and I spent like an hour yesterday trying to fix it. I am not sure if I'm gonna open source it yet. I have an old version. I might try to monetize it. That's why I might not open source it. But I have an original version of it written. This is what's running right now that we're rewriting. That does the same thing. Not entirely the same thing, but it runs every 2 minutes on a cron job on my Raspberry Pi, and it syncs. One second. Okay, sorry, I had to enter my password. It syncs. I lost my train of thought. But it goes and it hits a database that's on Supabase right now. Get the most recent date, and then we pull new expenses from Splitwise, and we basically figure out new expenses, updated expenses, deleted expenses, and for new and updated ones, we update you need a budget, and for deleted ones, we obviously delete it. There is some faulty logic in the detecting deleted and updated expenses that causes it doesn't break, but it doesn't sync correctly, and it creates manual work for me, and that takes like 10 to 20 minutes to fix every time that happens. Not that it happens often, but often enough that I don't know, it's time to rewrite this. This has been running for like years. Like, when was my first commit on this thing? This has probably been my most used piece of software ever. How can I just see a list of the commits? September 6th. Nope, keep going. Oh, that's bad. That's bad UX on GitHub's part. Yeah, first commit, August 24th, 2021. So I've been using this script for a long time. All right, so we want to go to budget sync. So where we left off yesterday is we were able to hit our API, right? So when we run this, we hit notifications, and right now, this is the transaction that I updated. So just to show you what we're looking at, we want to go to Splitwise. Let's open YNAB while we're here. We don't have anything syncing yet, but we look in here, I made this transaction with Unders, who I'm not sure if is in here yet. Yeah, like this is how Justine and I split our expenses. So the way Justine and I do that, Justine's my fiance for any new viewers. We go in here, and generally the way that we split expenses is that this isn't true for everything, but for most things we do 60-40, which is roughly proportional to our income. So like if you joined our incomes together into one pool, I make roughly 60% of that. She makes 40%. So we split transactions 60%, 40%. And then we both use you need a budget to budget, but we have separate budgets. I don't really want to open my budget, but we use this to keep track, and then Splitwise syncs it there, so we get good reporting and good categories and things like that. I haven't decided if I'm going to open source this yet or not. I don't know if we'll do joint bank account or not. I think what we have going on right now works well, but I don't know. In a former relationship and marriage, I had a joint bank account, and that also worked fine. So I don't know. Whatever is gonna work well for us and create the least amount of process is what we're gonna do. All right, Tmux A T, and we're doing budget sync today. All right. So let's get the API docs open. So yeah, here's Beers at the Prancing Pony, right? I updated this, but it was created by Unders. And if we look, you can see that in the data right here, right? The type is 1 for the notification. That's the big architectural change, I guess, is that rather than using the expenses API from Splitwise, we're using the notification API, which is going to give me this data right here. We're going to use that data because it has this nice type on it. And the type is a number that is basically like a discriminator. So like type 0 is a created expense, and this source you'll see is type expense, and it has an ID. So then we'll take that ID and we'll go get an expense by ID. And in the case of like this most recent one, the type is going to be 1, which means updated expense. So we found a way to like solve the worst problem that the old script had, which is that we were implementing our own like custom logic to figure out if an expense was created, updated, deleted, or undeleted. A budgeting app that scales with the number of girlfriendless wives? Yes, exactly. That's exactly what we're building. Don't clip that and send it to Justine. All right, so let's get into the code. All right, so we have this Splitwise client, and I want to start converting this to EffectTS. So we are going to go make a effect client. So let's just say, we'll just call this client.ts. Come in here, and we're going to import effect. And in here, we're going to say import export type Splitwise service. Splitwise, how do we want to call this? Wrapped splitwise client is going to equal read-only. And we're going to get in here and we're going to have a use. And use is going to be a function that has a generic a parameter. It's going to have a callback, which takes our, that a might need to go in there. No, it goes there. This will take our client, which is going to be, I need a type for, we're just gonna put unknown for a second here. And this is going to return a promise of A. And this is going to return a effect of A. We'll just give it a generic error for right now. And then we'll have client, which let's just say type splitwise client is going to be object for now. And we'll say this is going to be splitwise client. This can be splitwise client. And then we'll come down here and we'll say const make is going to equal effect.gen function star, and in here we'll say we have a client, which is just going to be that for now, and const use is going to be a function that we get our function. Do I have to type this in line? I can't remember. We need to give this an A. This will be our function. It gets our client, which will be splitwise client. This, and that returns our promise A. And then we can do this. And in here, we're going to do return effect dot try promise, and here we get try, and we'll just do a throw to do, and to put the other arm we get our error. We're going to rename this as cause, and we'll throw to do here. So this should return a effect of well, we'll return function client. We don't need our abort signal, that's fine. So now this should return an effect of A never never. And here we'll just return new error to do, and our cause will be that. And now this should map to the type we put it in as, A error never. Yep. And we should be able to return this as client and use. So this is how I wrap, this little pattern right here is how I wrap non-effect clients in effect. So basically every function that's going to be on our actual splitwise client that we generated yesterday in here is, where does this type come from? Client that, okay, that's not what I thought it was. I think it's in here. Yeah. So I basically have all of these functions on it, right? And it just automatically wraps the, or converts the promises to effects. Dylan, do you know where I would advertise blog articles that I write? Is Reddit or Twitter the only two answers? Um, yeah, I haven't used daily.dev yet, but I would probably use Twitter and Blue Sky. Um, Twitter and Blue Sky, and then maybe record a YouTube video of you reading through your own article or something. Well, let me know if you write things. I'll retweet your stuff. I'm more than happy to help boost friends of the stream. All right, so let's come down here and make a tag for this client. So we're going to say this is like and we'll come down here and we'll just say export class. We'll just call it Splitwise client extends context dot tag. This is going to get Splitwise client. This is going to return. Yep, this gets Splitwise client or wrapped Splitwise, or this will be self Splitwise client. And then we want wrapped Splitwise client, something like this. Is that the right syntax? Oh, you son of a bitch. All right, so now we have a wrapped Splitwise client that we can work with. And we can come in here and we can, there's actually a pattern that was shared with me by Attila from Zendesk that I want to try and understand a little bit better and copy. They use this at Zendesk for adopting effect and not forcing effect on other people. So I wanted to take a minute to try to understand this a little bit better. I'll share this with everybody. Hey Dylan, what model / service can you recommend for generating React TypeScript with Tailwind type components? V0, without a doubt. Like, not even close. V0 is, I know I work for Vercel, but V0 is genuinely the best at this. Generate a tool for syncing budgets or transactions between Splitwise and YNAB. Use a dark theme inspired by Vercel and Vercel Resend and Supabase. Use subtle animations. Yeah, we'll start there. Right. I haven't used Bolt. I know the teams. I know it's a good tool, but like I know the team building V0. I know the direction they're going. I know the things they're working on right now. Like, they're a crack team. See, boom. So, can you use V0 to refactor existing components? Yeah, for sure. You can just dump in your code and ask it to refactor. Like, if we took my old code, let's see what it... where the fuck do I have this? Refactor this code. Like, this isn't doing a React component, it's just doing TypeScript, but, you know, you get the gist. So, like, I'll show you my favorite one that I've generated so far is the landing page for the tool we're working on right now. I generated this with V0. This is like the front end. If I ever monetize this, this is what the landing page is going to be for it. Like the subtle animations in the back. We have light mode and dark mode. I really love this UI. This page looks so good. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, back to actually writing software rather than having bots do it for us. That logo looks familiar. That logo does look familiar, doesn't it? It's funny because I didn't even tell it to use that logo. Okay, so we want to, the things I'm interested in copying down here is a combination of this layer, this default config, and live, and then I want to try to figure out how I can make a little bit better or a little bit differently. So we're gonna have let's say we're gonna have static. We should probably, let's just say we'll get static sure, we'll do read only. No, we don't need read only. No one's gonna touch that. Static default config is going to equal, this is gonna be API key, and we'll do config.number. .pipe config or else config.c. So this is going to be config.redacted and this will be splitwise API key. And then there is a static load default config. I'm just gonna call it get default config load. That's not bad. Load default config is going to be a function that returns config.unwrap. What's wrong here? That needs an equal. Config.unwrap this.default config. And what does the return type of this look like? We need to convert it to a promise, and they use promisefy effect.run promise exit. Okay, I see how that works. Which what is the I want the data structure that Mozilla promise all settled. I know nobody's going to use this as a promise-based API. I'm just playing with this to get it down for work. How many iterations of prompts did it take me to get to the place for that budget sync? Probably like between 15 and 20. I just I added I focused on adding one feature at a time. And that was also like 4 or 5 months ago, and V0 has gotten much better at doing things right with less prompts and being able to do more work. Promise all settled. I want to copy this data structure. This returns a type that has a status. Is this an interface? If we look at type of type underscore is equal to type of, okay, fine, I'll put that there. Type of promise dot all settled. And we want the return type of that. return type, and that should actually be type up there. And we can get rid of this. Promise settled result. Okay, that's what we want. Okay. And we'll just call this promise, settled promise. Or we'll just call it what it is, right? Promise settled result. Oh, maybe that is just the type I have. Promise settled result. Can I do this? Is this a thing I can do? Aha, look at that. Okay. Okay, so this is going to return a promise settled result of our, let's just do an object right now. And we'll return this is going to be status will be fulfilled. And this will be value. And then this one will be status is going to be rejected. And the reason is going to be cause.squash exit. Is that not how we did this over here? Exit.cause. All right, so what's this subset about? What is the type that this thing takes? Promise rejected result, any t. And the exit.value is going to be a redacted.string. I have to be able to get the type. There has to be a type helper on config to get that. Type is equal to config.config.success. Yeah, there we go. Yoink. This will be, paste that in, and this will be type of default config, right? Config, we'll extract this out to a type here in a minute. Is that how we do this? Oh, I see. All right, whatever. We'll just manually write this type for now and deal with that later because it's not super important to what I'm trying to learn. This is a redacted string. And now what's this subset about? As const as const. All right, what's this upset about now? Why is that not fulfilled? That seems like it should be right. Do I have to wrap this in a promise? I do. That's so annoying. That's so annoying that I have to wrap that. All right. That's pretty cool, chat. So now we could expose this. Again, I'm doing this for the sake of learning how to do this pattern at work rather than it actually being important for this project. But what this is letting us do is it's letting us create this Splitwise client, and we're using effect internals, but we're converting the effect, in this case for loading the config, we're converting the effect into a promise and then mapping that promise to a promise settled result, which is effectively like the async promise version of the result type. Redacted comes from effect. So the thing redacted will do is if API key ever gets logged or JSON stringified, its value will always be just this redacted. It will never print the actual value, which if you've been around doing this job long enough, I imagine most of us have made the mistake of accidentally logging sensitive values to either traces, logs, standard out, or something. And once you make that mistake once, you don't want to make it again, and you're diligent about not making it again. So I use redacted all over the place, even outside of effect code. Okay, so we have a way to load our default config, and now we want to do, in fact, we should write this in a util. I'm just gonna drop a prelude.ts in here, and we're gonna copy some types quick from vnew. We're gonna go grab, in fact, I should just go grab this here, vim in here. What is it, utils? There are some types in here I want. Mutable, empty object, constant, get envar, spell kit event, currency formatter. We might want the currency formatters. Do I not have unify? Oh, I probably installed it from my own prelude. The thing I really want is this unify intersection. I use this type fucking everywhere. Yeah. That's my most used type helper of all time. It's so good. It basically prettifies types. If you've ever seen Matt Pocock's prettify type, it's effectively the same thing. So I'm gonna copy we'll say const effect to settled promise settled result, and this is going to take a E R, and then this will be an effect that is an effect of A E R. In fact, let's make this more helpful because I'm going to end up copying and pasting this code to work. Success. Really? One second, chat. I should be able to rename this. There we go. Success, and this will be error. Actually, we should not use error, failure, and this will be requirements. And then we're gonna come in here and do exactly what that last function did. So if we go back, we're gonna copy this right here. And put that right there. This will be run promise. That will take our effect. I don't know why that's upset, but it's probably because I don't have the other types imported. All right, why are you upset? Type effect success failure requirements is not assignable to parameter of effect. Oh, it needs to take a never. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And we can do that, right? And this is going to return a, let's just write our own type here. This will be export type. No, we should just use, I want to use the built-in ones. Do it right. Promise settled result of success. There we go. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, we're gonna actually tweet that because I think this is really good. We're gonna go to ray.so, and we're gonna dump this in here. I don't know why that double posted. That was weird. It's TypeScript, my friend. And we're gonna go over to the tweeters.
Functions describe
and we're going to see
the world.
Expose at EffectTS effects. How do we want to say this? With a promise-based API for incremental adoption. At work. Inspiration from the GOAT himself at Attila. Expose with a promise-based API for incremental adoption at work. Boom. All right, let me catch up on chat. Dude, man, PHP is just so far ahead of the game with just like quality of life stuff. You know, I think Bun is like the thing that might save TypeScript, because Jared and his team are taking a opinionated approach to building their standard library that deviates from Node. Like, for example, adding the S3 interface and API for working with blob storage that everybody uses. Like, that's a good move. Like, that should be in a TypeScript standard library. Like, I like Bun, or the direction Bun's going, for the same reason I like EffectTS. like it adds the things that I need and want to be productive without having to pull in a bajillion npm packages. All right, chat, here's this tweet if you guys want to go interact with it. Okay, we got our throat singing, probably from Kraut. Always got to get our daily throat singing meditation in, chat. If I hit affiliate, or no, I'm affiliate now. What is the next tier of... I don't remember what the next tier of Twitch is. But if I hit it, we'll do I'll sing a throat meditation. Yeah, if I hit partner, when I hit partner, I'll record a throat meditation on stream. You heard it here first. All right. We've been doing pretty good numbers recently. Like, we need to have an average of 75 viewers for a month, and right now we're at 74, so we've been doing pretty well. All right, let me get out of here. Back over to... Where the fuck did... Here we go. That's what I was going for. All right, so we have a way to do this. Okay. And over here, we are going to implement the layer function now. We're going to see the real thing I want to try is to make this a little bit better, and I want to use, I think I want to use a custom runtime, but we'll see. Static default, load default. Let's come in here and we'll do our layer. Static layer is going to take config, which will be config.config.wrap. We're just going to do this for a second. And we'll come here and we'll go there, and we're going to make this a function, and this will return a effect. In fact, this doesn't even need this outer thing. We can delete surround that, and jump over here, change in word, and this can just return an effect. .gen function star that, and oops, we'll come in here and we're going to const, we'll just call it CFG equals yield star config dot unwrap the config, and this should give us our struct. Yep. Let's declare a type up here. Export declare namespace splitwise. In fact, yeah, I want to actually change that casing everywhere in this file. So we'll say splitwise, and that'll become splitwise/g. There we go. And in here, we'll say that we have export type config is going to be a read-only object that has a API key, and that will be a redacted string. And then we should be able to reference that now, right? splitwise dot config. Nice, chat. Nice. We're goated. And then we'll say return effect layer dot effect, and we'll say make and config. Or no, how does he do that? They map make, which is going to take the config. So make takes config, which is going to be splitwise.config. And I know that's unused right now, but that's going to be fine. Oh yeah, we need to do this. Oh, we lost this. There we go. So now we have a way to construct layers based on config, right? That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. And we're going to come in here next, and we're going to say static make. And we're just going to move that function down in here. All right, I'm getting the gist of this pattern here. I'm getting the gist. And then we can do, I don't know if I can reference this here. How do we preserve? I think there's ways to preserve this context in a generator. I just don't know how it works. Thank you. Absolute legend. Thank you, Cracks. Coming out of the woodworks. What a goat. All right. So
Functions describe the world.
there is a way. There's a world in which sorry, chat. I'm thinking about how I would do this. So really what I want is I want a way to automatically copy the interface. Like, I think there's an easy way to do this. Not an easy way, some like type hacking where we can do like, where if we go in here, we're actually gonna have ChatGPT help us here. Write a type that takes a type and recursively iterates over all of its keys / values and converts the type and if the value or is of type effect success failure unknown. We'll deal with the requirements in a second. Type fixer or a function that returns effect success failure convert it to the type promise settled result success maintain the same structure, just converting to promises, infer the success and failure types of the effect. Example of the code that does this at runtime. Yes, I do use Vim. Yep. What's on the left is NeoVim.
Functions describe
Thank you for the follows,
the
Polak
world.
and Hab. I'm just gonna call you Hab. Okay. Let's see how this looks. So we don't even need to infer failure. All right, let's read this and understand it. Because I've written a type like this recently, I did it for converting never throw to effects. So if T extends an effect, we're going to just return the promise result success. Yeah, that sounds good. In fact, yeah, we don't even have to care about the failure case, right? If it's a function, yep. If it's an array, yeah, okay. Let's make one update. let's make one update. Let's handle the case where functions can return functions. Recurse up to, we'll say 2 levels deep for conversion. Let's say 3, just to handle. I normally never go 3 deep, but just to handle that case. Yeah, here we go.
Functions describe
We don't need this.
the world.
Right, and we can get rid of all of the, let's export this. Anymore. We'll say we can get rid of, actually we'll just do it manually. Yeah, so we'll recurse up to 3 levels deep for functions. All right. So really, then we should be able to type this as, like, we should be able to scrap the types here, right? Theoretically. Let's get rid of you, get rid of you. All right, and this should be convert. We're gonna give this a better name. Convert, and we'll say this is an A. We'll just call that success, right? Is that a success? T. No, we can't do that. Disregard. Basically, when I this is gonna be promise API from effect, right? And then we can come over here and we can use this insane type. And we could say that, like, type promise, we could say like I wrapped splitwise client promise API is going to equal promise API from effect. Let's actually call that something better, from effect API. And paste that there. And this is going to be I wrapped, just to test this. Like, this isn't the greatest use case of this, but now we should see that this type should end up being this type, except that this is going to return a promise result. A promise settled result of A. We can do one more thing here. Let me try unify intersection. See if we can prettify this. That gives us a better type here. Okay, that doesn't help. I still think that's the right type. So let me say declare const x is going to be an I wrapped promise API. And we should see x.use. And let's just So I know this is gonna be wrong, but like it's fine. I don't know if that's working. I don't know if that inferred correctly. Thank you for the follow, Dev. Hello, I just joined your stream. I'm looking for streams that are going to help me feel like I'm working with others. Software dev has become so lonely, man. I talked to one of my coworkers like once on video call in 3 months. I work on stuff so different from anyone else. Well, you found the right place. I think this is hopefully a good co-working stream. Maybe other people would disagree, but I like to think we have a good vibe for that. All right. We're going to put a pause on this type here because I don't know. Oh, it's because it broke, right? I forgot to rename. Maybe that's... Let me go try one thing quick. Yoink that, go down here, view in Word, paste that, view in Word, paste that. What up, Hans? What does it infer this to be? Use. Oh, that's interesting. It got client right, but it got use wrong. We'll see if it can fix one thing quick. Is being inferred as. Names like that, you think you're writing Java. I actually don't mind Java's naming because it's explicit and you don't have any, you don't wonder, right? Like it's super explicit and it just works. Single level, generic functions, double, triple. All right. What I'm working towards here is being able to generate a type that takes a effect-based API and converts it to promise. And then I think we can automatically implement that using this effect to promise thing in a runtime, in a custom runtime. That way we can basically get automatic promise-based APIs. Again, I'm doing this for work, not for this project. I'm just exploring right now. Paste that in. We need to take this, jump down here, and replace that with that. And this is going to be our last effort. That needs to be A. It got close. That got closer. So like if I do, I don't think it's going to carry the inference. So if I do const y equals x dot use x to, I don't know, let's just say that, async. What's this think? X is not callable. Oh, it just automatically, it flattened that. Didn't copy. Okay, yeah, I'm done fucking with this. I will spend time at work working on this to figure it out. And maybe it's just a case of manually retyping types, which is fine. And okay, so our actual Splitwise client is going to have on it all of this stuff. I'm going to I need a way to I'll use you again. I think I have O3, right? Do I not have O3? No, O3 is not enabled yet. We want to wrap all of these functions in a class that takes options in the constructor and wraps all of these functions in a class that takes options in the constructor and passes it to the functions now methods. Hamburger bean factory strategy. Okay, I had a viral tweet, all right, about this. I don't think the design patterns in the Java world are good. I do think the tendency to use explicit naming is good. I don't think the over abstraction is good. Gang of 4. No, it was something like the book that cost the world more than null. Boom. This got people real worked up. Real worked up. And people got so fucking pressed in the comments, dude. And I just trolled everybody. Dude, I had so much fun with this tweet. And the best part is I genuinely believe it. Did you see the 10K line of code camel tweet quoting Theo? No, I didn't. Can you share it, Sentient? Maybe I did. Why do I believe it? Because I've worked in the enterprise Java world, Kraut, and I've watched senior and staff level devs go into system design meetings and they literally they can only think in the patterns and the abstractions out of this book. Like it was like we were in like I've seen it and I've consulted many places and people just like the only patterns I can use are out of this book. And like it's so hard. So what is the good stuff in this book? The interpreter pattern. Interpreter, visitor, and that's probably it. I mean, factory is funny, but like sure, factory for making singletons, right? I'll retweet this and see if I can get people. All right. We had V0 cooking something for us, or AI cooking something for. Oh my god. It seems aggressive. Maybe we don't need all of these functions. All right, let's just write this client ourselves. I like the ability to continue code genning. I'll call this just effect client. And then we'll come in here and we'll call this client.ts. And we'll say you can delete that. And let's go over to SDK gen. So I don't think our types give us, like, I don't think we get like a client in here anywhere. No, client options. Yeah, we just get client options. All right, so let's close this, and we're gonna say export class splitwise client is going to come in here, and we're going to have, let's say we have export type splitwise client options. This is going to be a read-only. Jesus. There we go. Read-only. It's going to have. We don't need to ever convert the base URL. We'll just take an API key. I'll make this a redacted. Dot redacted string. And for now, this will be private read-only options is going to be splitwise client options, and then we're going to have our constructor. This is going to take options, which is our splitwise client options. We're going to assign that this dot options equals options. That should be done pissing and moaning. And then the things we need up front is we need the we know we need get notifications, right? We also need some other potential. No, we should just is going to be this. And then we have that code in our main file. So let's go up here and just yoink that. Could almost use a proxy. OCaml is great. Language to your functions are longer than 10K line code, then everything falls apart. Yeah, then you just refactor it down into tiny ones. What up, Colin? All right. I'm wondering if we can use a proxy and get that for free. Could we use Could we use a proxy instead so we don't have to repeat every function? What did you do here, friend? Return a proxy, this, get. That seems more complicated than I want to maintain. It's clever, but I would rather just maintain the shit I want. Yeah, we're not going to do that. Don't want to have Slack open. Let me actually make sure I don't have any pressing issues in Slack. That's fine. Okay, we're good. Okay, so this is going to take that's going to take nothing, and it's going to return. We can probably close this for now. You give us a thrown error. Oh, that's kind of nice that you can configure the thrown error, huh? Options.client. So what do the options actually look like here? If we do get, wait, what? Get notifications? Sure.
Functions describe the world.
And this takes
functions describe
we're really
the
just
world.
gonna do what this did, right? And in here, this will be this dot options dot API key, but we have to do redacted dot value. We'll return that. Yeah. So we need get notifications. We need get expense by ID. This will be expense ID. It's going to be a string, and we'll return get expense by ID, expense ID. Nope, not this. I guess we have to go look in here. Get expense by ID. And this is going to take a function that gets what? Options. What's this require? Path. ID is expense ID. Oh, that's a number? Okay, that's fine. And then we're going to a lot of private function here. Private get headers. And we'll return 4 down, find that, yank around that, throw that in there. And then we'll do fact we can get back. Get rid of this, paste that, delete that, do that. Get authorization. In fact, no, we can make that, we might be able to use it more generically later. This dot get headers. And we'll do the same thing down here. Is headers, is this dot get headers. There we go. So we should be able to get an expense by ID. And we can test this. We can probably test this quick in main, right? Let me catch up on Slack here, not Slack, chat. Yeah, I checked the pin link. Oh, fuck. God damn it. Yeah. Why does your NeoVim config look so complicated, dude? Does it look complicated or does it look unfamiliar? And then I would ask what part feels complicated and I can walk through it and explain it. Thanks for the follow, Dio and Fouch. Oh, gotcha. Get out of here, makes sense. Okay. I'm not getting follows in my headphones right now, which is concerning, but we can come in here and we can say, let's make a new client, right? We're gonna come in here and we're gonna say import Splitwise client. Yep, from that, and then we're gonna make our client const client is equal to new Splitwise client, and this needs an API key, which we'll just do redacted dot make, and we'll just do process dot env Splitwise API key. Okay, fine, we'll do that. And then we should be able to come down here and do like const results equals await client. What the fuck? Client dot get notifications. And then we can then that. We'll have a result. We'll just say res. Go into the function body. If res dot data we can drop into here, and we'll just say here, we'll come in here and we'll say res.data and res.data dot notifications. We'll return res.data dot notifications. Otherwise, we will return promise.reject found no notifications. No notifications. And then we'll chain on that. Dot then, and we'll have our notifications. And we'll go into here, and we'll do return notifications dot map, and we'll get a notification. In fact, we can flat map to filter at the same time. Notification into here, and if notification dot type. Oh, why is this undefined? We'll run the results of this thing through effect schema to get some runtime type checking. Equals 0 or notification. This isn't going to be what we eventually run, but just to make sure that our client's working. These are the two types for, this is type 0 is expense created and type 1 is expense updated. So here we can return client dot get expense by ID notification dot source dot ID. This will be more strongly typed in a bit. Oh, right, this needs to be like 0. That should get us results, right? We can map this one more time and basically do, this is kind of gross, but it's fine. Dot then, and then we'll just print results. All right, if we run this, I'm hoping, rather than getting this list of notifications, we now get a list of, in fact, we can take this one step further, and we can say, it's actually like that. And we'll return an empty array otherwise. So that will filter out non-expense notifications. And then we can get our res again, and we'll filter it down to the group we care about. Dot then res dot I have no idea what's happening out there with Justine and the dog. There we go. We'll basically do this same thing here. This is generally the flow that I think we want. Return res dot data. What is this type? It's an array. We can flat map again. and we'll get result, and we'll go in here and we'll say if result dot data and result dot data dot expense, we will return result dot data dot expense. We have a group ID. Let me get one other thing here. I don't know where I'm going to want to do this at, but const group ID is going to equal process.env, and we have a splitwise group ID. Stop. Yank surround inside that with that. There we go. And we can filter this, and we'll do one more. And result dot data dot expense dot group ID equals group ID. And that will effectively filter. That should filter us down to 2 expenses, which the 2 expenses we should expect to see now is this one right here, or basically these two, right? They are the update to an expense, beers at the Prancing Ponies with unders, and creating that. That originally said beer at the pub. So, chat, do we feel like we're going to be able to first try this? Just got word from Nyx. She misses you. I'm technically still using Nyx right now. It's going to be probably a weekend project ripping it out. Why am I using await with then? Where am I doing that at? Oh, because this says top level await in bun. We have top level await. I mean, sometimes I use both, right? Like, I don't know. Like, it makes it useful. Like, I like chaining. I like the Fluent API, right, of dot venting. But like when I finally want to unbox my value, I like await. All right, chat. First try, here it is. Oh, shit. Rip. Let's see if we just at least ran and didn't error, which means we got to this part. Let's just comment out this block and see what we get. All right, we do see the expenses. That's good. We properly enriched the data. We went from notification to expenses. Beers at the Prancing Pony. So I wonder if I just copied the group ID. Let's go ahead and just console.log group ID. I might have got my environment variable wrong. Seven. That looks like there's some. Okay. The group for the Prancing Pony transaction should be. Oh, it's because it's a string. We're comparing a string with a. Yeah. This will work. We did have it right, basically, on the first try. I'm just not used to Splitwise using IDs as numbers. So this should actually get us 2 transactions. I still consider this first try, chat. There it is. There's the data we want, right? Beers at the pub. Yeah. So we have a transaction for, yeah, both of those, the update and the creation. Hell yeah. So far, aren't the way they were before. It basically was first try. It basically was. The only thing we had to do was cast a string to a number, and it worked. Like, the hard part of piping data, like, it all worked. Have you used the community bun RT for Vercel? I have not. We're starting to, some teams are starting to use, I don't think we're running anything production with Bun, but I know teams are using it for dev tooling and scripts and stuff, including myself. Yeah, I don't think we have anything running in prod on Bun. What up, Fubar? Dude, that was a funny comment. Nightshade's out of touch. Drunk with power. All right. So we have get expense by ID. I don't know if we really need any other API from this. Like, let's go look at what else it gives us here. SDK gen. Let's look at our API over here. We have get categories. That's interesting. No, we're not going to need that at all. Get currencies, get expense by ID. We might need get expenses. Yeah, maybe the current user. Yeah, let's add get current user. And what else did we say we wanted? Get expenses probably. Maybe get group by ID. Get group by ID, get user by ID. So we'll do get user by ID. Get user by ID. This would be user ID. It's going to be a number. And we'll return get user by ID. Path is going to be ID is user ID. And we'll say headers is this dot get headers. And then we want a comma there. We need Will we say get group by ID? It's probably going to be useful to have.
Functions
Get
describe
group
the
by
world.
ID. So we'll take group ID. That'll be a number. Return that. Basically this. But this is going to be get group by ID. No. All right. We've got that. And then the last one was get expenses, right? Get expenses. Get expenses. And we don't need you. All right, that looks like a pretty good base client. And now we're gonna make an effectful version of this, right? So we're gonna take this and we're gonna convert this to effect over here. Let's go back to our effect client, right? And this is going to be, we don't even need that. We can import this, which will give us our class. So we're gonna have to construct a client now. So this is going to be new client, new Splitwise client, and we'll pass in our config, right? Yep. And now let's make an error. We're going to make a export class Splitwise client error extends data dot import that data dot tagged error, and this will be Splitwise client error, and this is going to have on it a, what is the syntax for this? I forget this every time. Takes a tag, and then this is going to have a type, and this is going to have a cause. This will always have a cause, and this will be unknown. Yoink that, and then we'll come down here, change that, delete to there, that back. And now this effect, rather than returning an error, this is going to return a Splitwise client error. And we're going to, on here, I'm going to go yoink some code. That I wrote for work quick for effect. What the fuck am I doing? What did I say I was just doing? I was going to get, I totally lost my train of thought, chat. Oh, the code from work. Right. Okay, and let's go to GitHub. Single sign-on. I'm gonna have to blur my screen. Did anyone watch the Angular docs from Honeypot? I did not. or Doc, excuse me. I have a buddy of mine working on his first file kit project with me, and it's so funny seeing the struggle of not having separation of concerns enforced. See you, Nightshade. Good morning, Earholes McGee. The code blurring thing is a OBS plugin from Finite Singularity, who's another streamer. If you look up just like composite blur OBS, it'll be like the first result. Let's see here. I just want the code from here, and I just need my instrumentation function. Where the fuck is this? From internals. Here we go. I want this guy right here. There we go. All right, now we can get out of this and go back over to what we were doing, and I can unblur. All right, so let's close this and this because that's the same file, and let's go to prelude, and we're just gonna put this in here for now. Oh, I need the retry too. All right, we'll go grab that. And we need to install flat. And then we'll pull in the type schedule. Type schedule. And we'll come in here and we'll go ahead and bun I flat. And then we also need to install the types, I know for a fact.
Speaks the gospel of the camel. I speak the gospel of the dunes.
Is it dash dash?
The sand is in my veins. Come
Thank
right
you for
to
the
camel with
subscription,
me
Patel.
today.
13 months, man. Let's fucking go. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Truly. Did that add to the right place? It didn't. All right. We'll just delete node modules quick and bun.lock quick. And then we'll go ahead and bun install. I'm going to blur one more time and go grab one other piece of code. Okay. Blur, and then we'll come back in here and we'll go to here. And honestly, I can probably just put this in the prelude. It's going to be fine. All right, I'll show you guys what I just added. Where's my Nasi Lemek? Oh, dude, I know. I have no excuse. I've completely let you down. I've let myself down. Someday it will happen when I remember and I'm not so busy on the weekends or in the evenings. All right, so the thing we just added is this with instrumentation function. What this is going to do, in fact, we're going to convert this to using the dual API, which I need to go look at quick. Okay. There is a API in all right, here we go. This is what we're looking for. I want the dual API. They have an API for doing data first and data last curried. I just need to figure out how to do it. Example using arity to determine data first or data last. Creates a function that can be used in a data last, aka pipeable or data first style. The first parameter dual is either the arity of the uncurried function. So that will be 3. So we get, in the uncurried version, we get self that. We'll get span name, which is a string. And then we get, oh, this is actually options. Having a, okay, I'm not going to worry about this right now. That's going to be a little bit more work than I want to get into. Yeah, I'm still at Vercel. A Vercel mate. The term we use internally is Vercillion. All right, so we have this with instrumentation, and with instrumentation is a function that will take a span name and some options, right? We get some options over here, and then it returns a function that takes an effect, and it will set up some nice stuff for us here. In fact, I want to do effect.log. Let's do a pipe here. Move that up in there. Log error. And then we do that. Is it flow? No. What does this return? Oh, I don't even need pipe or flow. I can use effect. We'll come in here and we'll say this is going to be effect.log error, and we'll just take the error, right? And we'll do this, and we'll wrap this with effect.zipWrite, which effect.zipWrite says, zipWrite says, hey, run these two effects sequentially, and then discard the result from the first effect and take pass on the result from the second effect. So run log error, ignore the result, and then it'll run annotate span, and yeah. In fact, I want to do something a little bit different here. Change in this. I want to do, this is going to be error.name, and this will be error.name. And we'll make this, I guess we can't do that. So we don't know if that's going to extend, which it technically doesn't have to. Okay, yeah. It sets up a retry policy by default, no retries. And yeah, does all this for us, so we don't have to add this to every single, basically, so we don't have to add this to every single effect we run, which I basically add all of this stuff anyways. So it's just a nice little helper. So if we go back to our effect client, we'll come in here and we're going to do .pipe on this, and we'll say with instrumentation, and then this will be, we give it the span name, which is going to be wrapped splitwise client, and the function we're calling is .use. And we can set up a retry. We'll do, we'll come in here and we'll say retry policy, and we'll do retry dot default exponential backoff policy. So basically, if any call to splitwise fails, we're going to retry using our default exponential backoff policy, which our default policy has a delay of 100 milliseconds. It has a growth factor of 2. It jitters and it retries 3 times. So we get that for free with just that one line there. This is why effect is amazing, right? This one line, I get I get tracing, I get error handling and logging, and I get retries with exponential backoff for like just a few lines of code. All right, so we have our wrapped client now, right? In fact, we don't even need to expose our wrapped client because that's not what we're going to be using in our application. We're going to come down here now, and we're going to make a new type. We're going to make an interface. And we'll say the export type service is going to equal a read-only. Jesus, I can't ever type. And we're going to make this basically mimic our Splitwise client, right? On our Splitwise client, we have get current user. So we'll have get current user is a function that is going to return an effect. Dot effect. And we're just going to put unknown here for a second, where I'm going to get the does this have types on it already? Get current user response. Yeah. We'll grab that, and then it will return a we'll just use our Splitwise client error for now. And let's bump that up. Or that's fine, actually. And this is looking good. This will have a dependency on a wrapped Splitwise client. So I wrap Splitwise client. And then we'll basically do the same thing for the other files here. We're going to say get user by ID. User by ID. This is going to take a user ID, which is a string. We're actually going to update this too to be to use effect schema, which is like Zod. And this is going to return an effect dot effect, and this will be get just to start user by ID response. Splitwise client error. I wrap Splitwise client. Yeah. And we're just gonna copy and paste. And this will be change to B. This will be group. This will be group ID. And this will be group. Import that. And then we have get expenses. Get expense by ID. This be expense. Grab that. This is going to be that. Get user by, and is that everything? Do we have all of them? Oh, we need get notifications. Let's move this down. I like having them alphabetically ordered for some reason in my brain. We can use this one as a template, paste that in there, and we'll just do a find and replace on expenses to notifications. do that, import that. Yep. All right, so there's our interface for the service we're gonna provide. And that's not quite right? Because we want to like, let's actually write those now. It's gonna be easier. Just get the work done. Or let's write the boilerplate for this actually. So I'm gonna copy this.
Describe the world.
Yoink that. And we're going to come in here and we're going to say, we'll close this side. And this will be just splitwise. And it's going to be splitwise. And it's going to be splitwise here, reference to itself, and this will be splitwise.service is the thing it's implementing. And the default config, we can keep that. And here, this becomes a little bit different, right? So we're going to come down here, and we're going to return as splitwise dot service. Yep, that looks good. That looks good. I know for a fact we're going to have to yield star a wrapped splitwise client, right? So we'll get our const client, and that's going to create a dependency here on a wrapped client. And I think Attila, in his example, my old keyboard is up over my shoulder on the shelf up there. Thank you for the follow, Ripex. Where was Attila's? Right here. Does he have a default layer? Generate. What is generate? Make is a pure function that takes a configuration object and returns an instance. I'm wondering. Live. That's what he does. So we'll come in here and we'll have like static default layer. And then this will be this dot layer, this dot default config. No. Okay, fine. There.
Functions describe the world.
All right, we'll do that. So now we have a default implementation that should have in fact, I wanted to do that up here, right? Static default is going to equal this dot layer, this dot default config. Look at that beautiful composition. That beautiful composition, chat. In fact, I don't even think we need config. This thing doesn't even need config. I actually don't think this thing takes any config, right? Because we're using the other layer. In fact, we could just hide it. We could do what do we want to do here? Why did that not work? All right, I don't know what I'm trying to do here, but I'm going to ignore it for a second. This dot layer. Hi, Winnie. Good morning, Bodie. Here, bud. Say good morning to chat. You guys are pretty late this morning.
I had a meeting.
Yeah. Good morning, Bodie. You say good morning to chat. Look, up here. Say good morning. Oh, God, you're on my ribs. Good boy. You good boy. Did you have a good breakfast? Was your breakfast good? Can you woof?
Did you eat? No, don't have him woof.
Woof.
He's been doing it so loud.
Woof. Buddy, woof.
Buddy, sit.
Buddy, sit.
Ow,
Sit.
Sit.
Buddy, woof. Woof.
Buddy. Woof. Woof. No.
Down, Bodie. You stay off.
Sit. He got yelled at this morning for his big woofs.
What?
He got yelled at this morning for his big woofs.
Oh no, I heard chaos out there.
It was him. I was asking him to woof for his breakfast, and he was just losing his mind.
Well, dot pipe, and we're going to layer dot provide, and here we're going to take wrapped Spotify client dot default. Layer dot provide. Why did that not work?
He's so cute.
Default. Oh, it's an effect? That should not be an effect. I think I might have to yield this.
Are you gonna stay in there with Dylan? Do you want to stay in there with Dylan? You can stay. You have a duck. You can stay.
Okay, so that's annoying. I guess I can keep that, right? And this would be layer dot effect this. Like that. That's what I really need. But that per... Now I'm fucking confused. It's because this is wrapped in effect. Ugh, this is so annoying. Let's return. We'll just do return config dot. We'll just pipe. Screw it. Pipe, and we'll say config dot unwrap. And that will pass us our unwrapped config to the next. Oh my god. There we go. And now we can do layer dot effect this dot make, and we'll get what is this? This is a config, right? That still ends up returning an effect. All right, I need to go look at how he did this. Config of effect.map layer.effect. How is he getting that to not be a effect? This dot make. This dot make. Oh, he did it in 2 steps. I see. and then it becomes layer dot effect this. And now it should be a layer, right? Yeah, there we go. Sure, that's fine. In fact, I think we might be able to do what we were doing. Let me try one more thing, chat. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. Fuck. Do I have a meeting right now? I don't. All right, I can finish this up here. If I do const impl equals this yield star this dot make, and we pass the config, and then I do impl, or this would be succeed. Does this give me a layer now? It's an effect or a layer. Okay, fuck it, we're doing this. This gives us an actual layer. Yeah. Okay, that looks good. That means down here, our make, we get a layer here, we get a layer, and we need to dot pipe, and we're going to layer dot, oh, not here, not here, not here, not here. The default layer should have, yep. Nice, we get a splitwise client from this layer. The layer can create a config error, which is if the environment variable is not there, and it returns never. Or it has no requirement. That's what I meant to say. This doesn't even have this. We don't need you because there is no config for this guy. Okay, so now we have like room to play with, right? I know we don't have any implementation, but tomorrow what we'll do is we'll implement runtime type checking and schemas on this, because like, I'll show you, for example, if we do const program is equal to effect.gen function star this, bump that up, we can just yield ourselves a const splitwise equals yield star splitwise. And even though we don't have an implementation, we have the type covered, and we can program against this type here. So we can be like const notifications is yield star splitwise dot get notifications. And if we come look at what this is, we have this array of notifications, right? And basically what we're going to do tomorrow is add runtime type validation. So rather than this returning like this object here, it will just return an array of notifications. But then we can be like yield star effect dot for each notifications dot notifications. We can have a effect. This will be a function that gets the notification. And we run this, and this needs to return an effect.gen function star, and we'll extrapolate this to another function tomorrow, but and we'll say concurrency is unbounded. So we'll do these all in parallel and hope we don't get rate limited. Just to make the type system happy right now. We get this, and our effect, we can come in here and we can just return, actually, is there a map? Effect dot for each. What does this end up returning? Yeah. And we can just do, we can use our splitwise client, right? Because that's in our closure. we'll do yield star splitwise dot get expense by ID, and we can get the notification, right? Dot source dot ID or 0, right? Isn't that what that needs? Number or undefined. What do you take? A string? God damn it, did I fuck all these up? I did. And yeah, and then that will map everything to our expense. And then this would be our const expenses equals that. We have our expenses right there, an array of them. And if you look at the program, this is going to tell us everything we need to know about our code. So our program is an effect that returns nothing, returns void. It can produce a splitwise client error, and it has a dependency on this type here, which is our wrap Spotify client and our splitwise. And technically, because we lied to the type system up above, how the hell do I get out of here? In fact, we could just return expenses. To run this, it would just be effect.run promise exit, and we would run our program, and then we need to .pipe, and we just need to provide it, effect.provide, to give it its dependencies, which is dependencies is should be provides splitwise later provide. We should be able to just provide the default implementation of splitwise dot default. All right, what's this still upset about? Oh, it still needs, okay, so we'll come in here and this will be a provide merge. And that should say make this layer. What am I doing wrong here? Perfect. I don't know, we'll figure this out tomorrow. It's probably because I'm lying to the type system, but we're making great progress. We can probably, we'll have to go through and do the YNAB client tomorrow and the schemas, but yeah, we're getting, you know, we're getting there. We have our interface and our design for the splitwise side of the house basically in line. Add splitwise client plus effect client. So let's find someone to raid. So far I've been pretty productive, so that's good. Sweet. Glad to hear that. I will try to start on time tomorrow morning, chat. I accidentally I turned off my alarm rather than snoozing it, and then I slept an extra 30 minutes this morning. So we'll try not to do that tomorrow. Oh, we're rating Chicomo. All right, go show Jack some love. He works on Gleam's compiler and language server. He's one of the best teachers and streamers I know. So if you're into functional programming and Gleam and all that stuff, or just learning new stuff, check it out.